Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Alex Cuesta Daily Show. How are we out there? I hope everybody is enjoying their Thursday, March 17th of 2022. If you like what you hear here, like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify and iTunes. And as always, spread this word of mouth. Let people know you enjoy the show. Social media, The Alex Cuesta Show. Go search it. You'll find it wherever you look. Let's jump right into things. Now, if you hadn't noticed, I have not been around for the last few days. It has been a doozy trying to get the show recorded. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll continue to do my best to get this on a daily basis, but sometimes it just happens that I can't. Life happens. So we're going to get right into the Biden COVID tracker. It's all good news around, to be quite honest. Last time we talked on the 14th, the cases were at 79,523,228. Deaths were at 966,720. As of today, cases are at 79,586,964. That is an uptick of 63,736 from 3 days ago. And that's a 3-day average of 21,245. In terms of deaths, we're at 967,817. And the death number is up 1,097. That is a 3-day average of 366. Those numbers are fantastic. They are great. They are saying that we are out of this. We've been out of this. We're in an endemic. We've said it for a while. Pelosi came out and said some nonsense about how we need to continue to throw resources at COVID. Deltacron is starting to pop up in China. I guess that's a fucking thing. It's starting to pop up there. And they started shutting some regions down. I know Germany, I think, has a scare of uptick of cases. I mean, we need to stop playing games here. It's all done. It's all done. It's always entertaining to see people wearing masks now at this point. I feel like it's almost appropriate to ridicule them, but I guess that would be mean. But yeah, no, it's done here. We're done here. And they need to continue to scale things down. And we need to get rid of the Emergency Powers Act that Biden has. There's no point to it anymore. He doesn't need it. So get rid of that. That's time. But right now, there's a war distracting everybody. So that's a good distraction. I'm not going to talk about the war again. There's kind of no new developments. Russia's still shelling the shit out of them. Ukraine is hanging on. And we are hanging on the balance of World War III. So that's really what it is. What's exactly going on right now. So there's not much to say about the war. If anything really, really develops, then we'll talk about it. If a NATO nation breaks and kind of goes in and helps and starts World War III, or if China fully supports Russia militarily, or another country jumps in. There's a lot of minor geopolitical things going on, but nothing that is going to completely shift and rock the boat. Biden's fucking up at every foreign policy chance that he can. So that's also not surprising. I don't need to report on that. So that's generally the gist of what's going on right now. Now, as of today, there was the Division I collegiate swimming and diving championships, and a person that has stolen the stage is Leah Thomas. She is the first transgender swimmer that has been allowed to compete all year, has absolutely destroyed people all year, and she's allowed to compete. Now, a background on Leah Thomas. I don't know what Leah Thomas's name was when they were a male, but they were a collegiate swimmer. They weren't good. They were like 400th in the planet or whatever in the country. They weren't like a skilled collegiate swimmer, but they were still a collegiate swimmer. They were talented enough to swim collegiately. So now they are transitioning into becoming a female and competing during this process. And she successfully stole a national championship from a biological woman. And that's the only way to put it. She successfully stole it because you cannot support this. She won the 500-yard freestyle in college at the championships. And she won by a solid second. Let's see. Yeah, a solid second. And it's not fair. It really just isn't fair. When it comes down to the swing of things that she's even allowed to compete at this level. I'm going to go ahead right now and give the championship over to second place, Emma Wyrant of Virginia, a freshman, which that's fucking awesome. A freshman. Two freshmen actually finished. Wow. Freshman from Texas finished second. in Erica Sullivan. In third place, Brooke Ford, because we need to stop playing games with this stuff here. Stop coddling this type of shit. Leah Thomas does not belong competing against women. Leah Thomas is a transgender, is a biological male, has natural physical traits that give them the advantage over biological women. And I hear people like, oh no, if they give enough hormone treatment for enough years, then it'll shift, blah, blah. No, it won't. You cannot shift genetics like that. We are not there with technology that you can actually fool your body and retrain your body into becoming a different sex. It's not real. There will always be an advantage. It might be dumbed down, but there will always be an advantage there, especially from somebody who swam at a high level before this. If it's just schlub whatever, if I go into the pool and I transition from, Alex over to Philomena, and I transition and I go and try and get in the pool and compete against these ladies, I'll get my ass handed to me. I'm not a swimmer. They would beat the shit out of me. So my physical advantages would mean nothing. But if you take a male swimmer, even a bad one, but someone that does it their whole life, knows the technique, has it down, and was able to compete at a collegiate level, any collegiate level, was able to actually compete and make a collegiate team and then have them switch and go compete against women, they're going to be extremely competitive, if not dominate, like Leah Thomas has done. So there's a lot to be said. Essentially, Leah Thomas stole a championship from a biological female. And Emma Wyrant is the true champion from Virginia, freshman from Virginia, of the 500-yard free. Erica Sullivan is the true second place winner from Texas, and Brooke Ford from Stanford is the true third place winner. We need to stop coddling this shit. Leah Thomas hasn't won anything. Leah Thomas hasn't proven anything. All right. So on to the main crux today. We are going to talk about a story a few days old, because I've been meaning to do this show for the past few days, but it is important, really important, that we talk about some of this stuff, because I think it is vital. It has to do with sports, but it also has to play with what's going on politically. So there's two articles here. They're short. They're both from the New York Post, and they're both covering how unvaccinated players are being treated in New York City. Now, we know about Kyrie Irving. What's happened lately is Kyrie Irving is actually allowed to be on the floor, on the court, without a mask. He just can't play. So let's read this article real quick. It's by Brian Lewis. Nets fined $50,000 for allowing Kyrie Irving into Barclays Center locker room. Now, mind you, this is the second time he's been in Barclays Center unmasked, sitting courtside. He went once, I believe, to see his high school play the day before, and now he's sitting courtside here. It was against the Knicks. And this was written March 14, 2022. Let's read this article, because it is hypocrisy at its finest here. Let's go. The Nets were fined for letting unvaccinated Kyrie Irving into their locker room on Sunday, and Kevin Durant appears to have been chastened for calling out Mayor Eric Adams in support of his teammate. The NBA fined the franchise $50,000 on Monday afternoon for having allowed Irving into the team's locker room at halftime of its 110-107 victory over the rival Knicks at Barclays Center. And moments later, Durant released a statement clarifying his critique of Adams. So we'll hear about his critique. And I completely agree with Durant's critique, and I cannot stand the fact that he went back on it. Let's keep going with this article. While Irving is permitted to attend home games now that the city's indoor vaccine mandate was dropped, and he attended his first home game of the season, the private sector mandates still bar him from playing. And the league slapped the Nets with a fine for violating local New York City law and league health and safety protocols in letting him come from his courtside seat into the locker room. So how fucked up is this? You don't have to wear a mask indoors, but if you own a business or have a business, you have to be vaccinated and wear a mask. You have to do all that same shit if you own a business. Eric Adams is attacking the businesses of New York City. And this affects small businesses more than it affects anybody else. Because if you can't find employees, or if you are an unvaccinated individual that owns a business, you are fucked by this. And that's all it is. It is, let's see it at its face. It is attacking small businesses. And it's ridiculous, and people need to call it out. Let's keep going. Since the mandate requires employees to ensure that their workforce is vaccinated, the NBA fined the Nets, not Irving. In the moments after the game, in which Durant poured in 53 points to lead the Nets to the win, the former MVP called out Adams for not having repealed the mandate that currently bars Irving from suiting up, but permits him to enter the arena and sit courtside while allowing unvaccinated foes to play. So, yeah, it's hilarious they did that. And also, it was a great win for the Nets. Go Nets. So let's keep going with this and listen to Durant's quote. Yeah, I don't like it, Durant said after the win. But at this point now, it feels like somebody's trying to make a statement or a point to flex their authority. But everybody out here is just looking for attention. And that's what I feel the mayor wants right now, is some attention. He'll figure it out. He better. But it just didn't make any sense. It's unvaxxed people in this building already. We've got a guy who can come into the building. I guess they fear for our safety. I don't get it. We're all confused. Everybody in the world is confused at this point. Earlier in the season, people didn't understand what was going on. But now it just looks stupid. So hopefully, Eric, you got to figure this out. That is a great quote and a strong statement, and completely and totally appropriate to what's going on. Mayor Adams is looking for attention. There is no actual reason. Even he said that the fact that people can come into New York City unvaccinated and perform and play and do this type of stuff, but the residents have to be vaccinated, was hypocritical. Even he said it. But then they always couch it, well, our public officials, our public health officials say this. People we didn't fucking vote for are making the rules. And Mayor Adams is far too happy to go along with it. So it's dumb. Let's keep going here. Of course, Eric, of course, would be Adams. And while there has been no public comment from his honor, Durant took an entirely different and more political tone on Monday. Quote, the last 2 years have been difficult and painful time for New Yorkers, as well as very confusing time with the changing landscape of the rules and mandates. I do appreciate the task the mayor has in front of him with all the city has been through, said Durant, who was named Eastern Conference Player of the Week. My frustration with the situation doesn't change the fact that I will always be committed to helping the communities and cities I live and play in. So, yeah, he took a much more political. He didn't write that. Kevin Durant sure as fuck didn't write that. Because I think he was so mad, and I think he knows he's right that Eric Adams is full of shit when he keeps this up. And again, I don't disagree that there's a monumental task. New York City is extremely populated, but at the same time, open your eyes. Look at the actual statistics. Look at what's going on. You're not helping anybody. You're only hurting small businesses by keeping up this mandate. Is that by design? I think some people would say so. And Eric Adams has already proved that he is definitely one of the worst, if not the worst politician in the country. So good job, New York City. You voted in another fucking winner. Let's move on to the next article in the New York Post that's related to the last article. This one written by Joel Sherman and Bernadette Hogan. Unvaccinated Yankees and Mets won't be allowed to play in home games. This one was written the 15th. So here we go. Kyrie Irving's already been treated like shit all year. And now the Yankees and Mets might feel the pain. Now, this is extra dumb if they're not allowed to play. Because for the main reason, they fucking play outside. The only thing since the beginning of the pandemic that has had any sort of effect on either slowing down, hurting, killing this virus is the sun, is being outside, is the UV rays. That has statistically proven to be effective. There have been, I think, virtually no cases linked to people being outside and passing it to each other. None. I might be wrong. Maybe once concerts started going and people were elbow to elbow and making the fuck out, maybe. But in terms of just walking around, being at a ball game, playing in a ball game, not even being there, because fans can fucking go. They can go and sit sardined next to each other in Yankee Stadium and Citi Field. But players won't be able to go onto the fucking field and play the game where they are spread out on defense and alone on offense. But they could travel and do it and go do the same thing and stand in the dugout next to the people. And I guarantee they'll let these motherfuckers sit in the dugout with a mask off. But they're not allowed to play. Think of the stupidity here. Let's read this article. If the Major League season began today, any Met or Yankee who has not been vaccinated against COVID-19 will be unable to play home games in New York City, the Post has learned. The regular season does not begin until April 7th, and the league office and both New York teams are aware of the New York City vaccine rules that would prohibit their unvaccinated players from being in a workplace. MLB, the Mets, and the Yankees all decline comment. The Yankees later released a statement on the status of the games in New York City. On behalf of the New York Yankees, team president Randy Levine is working with City Hall and all other appropriate officials on this matter. We have no further comment. So essentially, they're doing fucking nothing. They're sitting on their hands and just doing whatever the city wants them to do. Keep going. This is a fluid situation and could be resolved prior to the New York-based portion of the season, beginning on April 7th when the Yankees host the Red Sox. But at this moment, this is essentially the Kyrie Irving situation the Nets are facing at Barclays Center going outdoors. New York ordinance does not differentiate between indoor and outdoor workspaces. Again, this is going after small businesses. They don't give a fuck where they are taking place. They are trying to bury them. Let's keep going here. The rule currently stipulates that businesses may not allow any unvaccinated workers to work at their workplace. A workplace is considered any location, including a vehicle, where you work in the presence of at least one other person. How is this legal? That the government is telling a private company what they aren't allowed to do with their employees who are making a medical decision for themselves. How is this actually legal? This can't be legal. It really can't be. I don't know how the fuck it is. Let's keep going. The city's private business vaccine mandate was first announced by former Mayor Bill de Blasio on December 6th and took effect just after the new year began, leaving enforcement of the rule up to Eric Adams. The policy bars employers from allowing unvaccinated workers to enter the workplace without proof they've received their shots. Fines for offending businesses begin at $1,000, but additional penalties are add up if there are multiple violations. Although Adams has admitted the rule is unfair, as unvaccinated out-of-town athletes are permitted to play in New York, he hasn't changed the mandate, arguing he fears another COVID-19 shutdown. So again, he's arguing in fucking fantasy world, which they all do. What may happen, I need to continue to flex my authoritarian muscle because of unforeseen things that may happen. People might get into accidents, so let's take roads off the road. Let's take cars off the road completely. They might get hurt. I might trip off a sidewalk today, so you know what? I probably just shouldn't go outside. It's such a dumb argument that we're allowing these people to keep their power. Let's keep going. The mayor was also heckled by a man shouting, "Let Kyrie play," during the Saturday press conference, to which he responded with a thumbs up. Kyrie can play tomorrow. Get vaccinated. So AKA Kyrie can play tomorrow. I'm a fucking dickhead. He goes, "I love New York hecklers, man." He jokingly added, "This guy's a scumbag." Mayor Adams is a scumbag. There's no other way to put it. Meanwhile, the city has laid off over 1,400 public employees who refused to get vaccinated in violation of the city's own mandate. The Mets completed last season as one of 6 teams that failed to reach the 85% threshold for vaccination that allowed relaxed protocols. More than players were included in the covered group needed to reach the 85% level. But just among players, Mets barely got above 50% vaccinated, a source told the Post. The other teams that failed to reach the 85% level were the Cubs, Diamondbacks, Mariners, Red Sox, and Royals. Good for them. Good for them. Make your own decisions. The Yankees reached an 85% threshold, but were known to have key players who did not get the vaccine during last season. Anthony Rizzo said last June that he was not getting the vaccine despite being a cancer survivor. He was acquired by the Yankees and contracted COVID. He told the Post, Steve Serby, "I just had COVID, so they say for 3 months I'm kind of in the clear. So I think after that, it will be a time to really make that decision again." Rizzo, who reached a 2-year with the Yankees on Tuesday night, has not publicly said what his current vaccine status is because it's nobody's fucking business. That's why. It is nobody's business what your vaccine status is, and it's disgusting that people are just shouting it out. But these are the same morons that probably agree with shout out your abortion. So I digress on that. Aaron Judge missed 9 games on the COVID injured list in July, and when asked at the time if he'd been vaxxed, he said, "I'm not going to get into that." Good for you, Judge. It's no one's business. Asked again on Tuesday, Judge said, "I'm so focused on just getting through the first game of spring training. I think we'll cross that bridge whenever the time comes. But right now, so many things could change. I'm not really too worried about that right now." Aaron Judge is unvaccinated and he's sticking to his guns, and good for him. Stick to your guns, Aaron. Don't let any of these douchebags, push you to get something you don't want to get and don't necessarily need. It is an unnecessary vaccination for a healthy individual. It is not necessary. Let's keep going. Players could have changed their minds and gotten vaccinated in the offseason. For example, Boston star shortstop Xander Bogaerts told reporters Monday that he had received a vaccination in the offseason after not getting one last year. A City Hall spokesperson said, "The policy remains in place. We look at data every single day and listen to advice from public health experts. We cannot speak for what will happen in a month, but the private sector mandate today is in place." So yeah, the City Hall spokesperson's a shitty person and the mandate is stupid. We look at data every day and listen to advice of public health experts. You should be not listening to the advice. You should be taking the counsel of them, but you shouldn't be listening to their advice. I don't give a fuck what their mandate, what their degree is. They're not the elected official. But we're giving public health experts a ridiculous amount of power right now. We are. And, I want to end this off because it is crazy that none of these teams have any balls. I really hope when the time comes, which it won't happen if you're the Yankees, because Hal Steinbrenner is a pussy now. He's not as bad. He sucks. He's one of the worst owners in sports. But maybe Stephen Cohen might do this because he's a little crazy. The Mets new owner, he spent like a fucking psycho this past year, knowing that there was going to be a lockout coming up. He didn't care. He just spent and got guys he wanted. But I hope that if it comes to a point where you're not allowed to play these guys, that Stephen Cohen just calls up and says, I don't fucking care. I paid for these guys, put them on the field. This is stupid. I'll worry about the fines. And then they sit there and they take the fines, they take the ridicule from MLB, and they sue the fuck out of all of them. Because there's no reason this should be going on. This is not logical. This doesn't seem lawful with the language. So, I don't know. Someone needs to stand up to this shit, and someone needs to be someone big. It can't be, just a few players doing it, sure, but it needs to be a few billionaires with franchises and some bigger people standing up and saying, this is fucking dumb. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Glenn Beck at the Blaze did it. Daily Wire did it, where they said no, and they were told they were going to be fined to oblivion, and they weren't, because the OSHA mandate got shot down because it's not legal. These mandates aren't legal. I know a governor could put a mandate down and a mayor can do it in emergency situations, but we're not there anymore. Somebody needs to argue that we're not in an emergency situation anymore. We're not in a pandemic level situation anymore. So this power is being executed and used unlawfully. And if you do that, you will win in court. Put these guys in the fucking field. Put Kyrie Irving on the floor. Joseph Tsai, stop being a bitch. Tell him to just put Kyrie on the floor and you'll handle it. You're a billionaire and a powerful man. Go fight this on the grounds that this isn't legal anymore and it's unnecessary. And you will win. I don't care if the Southern District office is super left. They can't argue this positively. There is no actual reason for this to continue. So please, somebody with some power, grow some balls. Just throw your players on the court. Tell them whoever fucking comes at you, put them on the field. We will see you in court. Keep playing them and you will win that. Somebody grow a sack, please. I think that's how I'm going to end it. Grow a damn freaking sack. And you know what? If you're a woman and you're a feminist listening to this, grow a set of ovaries too. I don't care. Grow something that'll give you just some backbone. Jesus Christmas. This topic pisses me off because it's so dumb. But everybody, thank you so much for listening. Like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth if you like the show, and follow us on socials. Go search the Alex Costa Show. You'll find us there. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see. Things come at us fast. So we'll see if I'm back. If I'm not, everyone have a great weekend, but I plan on being back. So as always, everybody have a good one. So long.